Hello and welcome to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I haven't showered yet today, and I'm here with my friend John, the Ginger Gorilla. John, how you smelling today?
I showered today. He didn't. Which is like uber geek.
Uber sweaty.
For stereotypical, like if you think of a geek, someone who sits in their basement of their mom's house, it's not showering, right?
Yeah.
So, but the one reason I did have to shower today was because I'm sick. So if you hear a little bit of raspiness in my voice, if I'm a little low energy on this podcast, I got a cold that's been going around. Kyle hugged it into me last week when Conor McGregor won. We were very excited. We talked about that on the last podcast, actually. It was before Conor won. We were mad pumped. Kyle, what's your reaction with the whole Conor fight? Go!
It was incredible. I told John that during the shoulder smashes, I tasted blood in my mouth. I've never done cocaine before, but I imagine that sensation that I felt during that moment was like the highest grade of cocaine. It was spectacular.
Funny thing, you could probably ask Conor what that cocaine feeling was like.
Yeah.
We think he was on it at one point, but we don't think he is now, and now he's a winner, and he's back in everybody's favorite books. So that's really exciting. Yeah, but it was a great fight. I'm excited to see his next fight. Rumor has it, maybe Jorge Masvidal, which is terrifying, but that's what everyone thinks they're leaning towards. Which scares me.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
That's a big man. But also, Conor said right after the fight that he had to eat up to 170, right?
Yes.
Rogan thinks he had to cut weight. Rogan thinks that he was bigger than he's been letting off in there.
Possibly. Go ahead.
That would be a good, idea psychologically to like kind of get in your head for your opponents to say, like I'm smaller, so then they go in thinking you're going to be like smaller, weaker, a bit smaller fighter, and then you come in and you're actually like beefy boy.
No, for sure. But with that being said, this isn't necessarily a sports podcast.
No.
So why don't we get into our first topic of the day, John? You down?
Let's do it.
All right. So I actually wanted to combine both mine and John's respective worlds into one topic today. Last decade was the decade of the comic book movie. I don't think that is debatable by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm wondering if this decade we're going to see the rise of the video game movie.
Ooh.
Now, prior to last year, I think that there has never been an objectively good, or I hate the word objectively good. There hasn't been a great video game movie. I think Detective Pikachu was the first one in a long time where I went, oh, that was actually a really fun time at the movies. That wasn't cheesy or whatever. It was actually a really good film. It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think you saw it, right, John?
I did not see it, but I do have a question.
Go
Did you see Ready Player One?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a video game movie necessarily.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't it's because it's video game based.
Yeah,
but it's not based off a video game.
No, it's based off a novel.
Yeah, so it's a book movie.
Yeah, so I wouldn't.
It's a book movie based off of video games, but not a video game.
Yes, it's not a video game story converted into film. Now, if you want to call that a video game movie, that's the best one by far. It's not even close.
Oh yeah, that movie was done so well.
Well, I mean, it was Steven Spielberg directing it, so I mean, come on now, you got a goat out there doing something that's going to be good.
That's true.
However, what I wanted to talk about today was something that has to do with February 14th. Now, John, I'm going to count down from 3 to 1, and I want us to say at the same time what we think of in terms of February 14th. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Sonic the Hedgehog.
President's Snowmobile Weekend. Valentine's Day.
Jesus Christ.
Hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog is releasing on Valentine's Day weekend. For all
Nothing says sad, sweaty nerds like a video game movie! Woo!
You know who'll be seeing that instead of going out with a significant other? This guy. No, but in all seriousness,
I think I was wrong.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, Sonic the Hedgehog is releasing on February 14th, which I think is the most hilarious troll job by a studio ever.
Oh yeah.
And John, would you mind pulling up the projected box office reports that I sent you?
Yes, you ready? And ting! Look, we're getting fancy here, people.
Hey, so I can't see the screen right now, but
No.
on one side you'll see what Detective Pikachu made on its opening weekend,
That is Kyle's
which is
side.
$57 million, John?
54 million.
54. And what Sonic the Hedgehog is estimated to make in its opening weekend. Could you tell me what that is, John?
30 to 35 million.
Okay, so well, those numbers aren't necessarily high, especially for the budgets of each movie, which you can pull up in a second. I think that if Sonic the Hedgehog does really well through word of mouth, kind of like Detective Pikachu did, and through review as well, which again you'll see the scores in a second once John pulls those up. You can wait a second, John. I think if this movie does well, we could see a continuation in terms of movie studios going, oh, we can make profitable movies based off video games now.
Yes.
Much like they did with comic book movies back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Now, I don't want to say it all hinges on Sonic the Hedgehog, because the movie started off with a bit of a stumble at the starting line.
Very hard trailer release.
Yeah. However, I think that this movie could kind of jumpstart the or not jumpstart, but give life to the video game movie genre as a whole.
Do you know another video game movie being in production right now?
Call of Duty?
Nope. I mean, there might be, but that's not what I was referring to.
What?
I think they're making another Mortal Kombat.
Whoa.
Which, those were good movies back in the day, arguably. I mean, not like the best, but for video game movies, I know they did pretty decently.
Yeah, and so those were very the cheesy comic book. I mean, the cheesy video game movies for sure. Those were like,
but
I've watched them as an adult, and it's
from
insane.
what I heard about these, I think they're trying to do it. Obviously, it's still going to be very video game-esque, like graphics. Because I mean, when you think of Mortal Kombat, you think of the fatalities, the gore, all that stuff. But yeah. I do think it's going to be more of a little seriousness to it, too. And I'm excited to see what they'll do with that. But a question.
Yeah.
Do you think these Sonic numbers are good for like the 30 to 35 million prediction for the weekend it's coming out? I mean, given it is a holiday weekend where it's not typically a holiday weekend where people go to the movies necessarily.
All right? So now before I answer that, could you do me a favor and pull up the Sonic numbers?
Yes.
The Sonic Google search.
Ting.
On this, I believe what you'll see is that Sonic's budget, if I'm remembering correctly, was $95 million.
Just give me 1 second.
And John and I have talked about how movies make their money. Mm-hmm. You have to basically double what you put into the film.
Yeah.
So $35 million isn't necessarily amazing. Gangbusters.
Yeah.
What it is a possibility that there's quite a few people that do want to at least check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this movie could have gone the route of like the Power Rangers movie, which I don't even know if it crossed 20 million when it first came out opening weekend. But I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and check the numbers.
That picked up steam, right?
That picked up a little bit of steam, but it wasn't too profitable of a movie. I think it like broke even. So I think 30 million is okay for opening weekend, but again, if it's good and word of mouth picks up, it'll pick up steam, and that's only domestically, I believe, for 30 million.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah,
is that domestic? Is that the international?
Yeah, so I think it's domestic, and then again, the international audience, and that's where I think Detective Pikachu made all of its money. Could you also pull up that Google search as well? Yes, the one I sent you for that.
Up right now.
Boom. Detective Pikachu's budget was $150 million, and it made well over $400 million at the box office.
431, that looks like.
That is a very profitable film.
It's a very good film, yes.
So much so that they are actually
a high budget. Ryan Reynolds costs a lot.
Yeah. And I don't know if you knew this, John. Did you watch a movie back when we were kids? I think it was called Pokemon the Movie, where like Mewtwo was in it. Ash at one point like turns to stone. It's like this very sad scene and everything.
Was it a cartoon or?
It was a cartoon.
Yes, I saw that.
They're remaking that on Netflix with like upgraded graphics and everything. Like they've remade the entire movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's releasing this year.
Is it same script and
Basically.
okay? So that's a I think that's good.
Yeah, it's cool. So what I'm saying is, I think that we can now head down a path where we see more movie studios taking chances on video game movies if this movie does well. And since you're the video game guy,
Yeah.
what I ultimately wanted to ask you is, if this is possibly the decade of the video game movie, what do you want to see from video game movies?
Hmm. Wow. Um, I would like to see them almost as we got with our comic book movies.
Hmm.
Um, where they started out as just like punch, punch, slam, explosion, boom, 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 superheroes, yeah. And then eventually, now we have Marvel, where it's serious storylines, serious things, and we talked about it on the last podcast. So if you guys want to reference that, make sure you check it out. But we talked about how we want to see them taking this path of, how do we put it, where they do different genre movies with
Yeah.
the comics. I'd like to see that with the video games, right? I think they already have different genre video games. So, and you have storylines basically written for you. All you have to do is make it into a movie now. Very simple with a lot of video games. Like a Skyrim video game, I think would be, Skyrim movie, sorry, could be an awesome movie. I mean, it would go along the Lord of the Rings. Shit. I mean, they just did a Witcher TV show.
Yeah.
And it's great. So I do think these things are very possible now, especially because of where we are with video games in our culture. They've been seen as a little cooler lately.
For sure. For sure.
Thank you, Drake.
Shout out Drake.
Thank you, Ninja.
Yeah.
Because without you two, I think we'd still be stuck in our basements. But I would like to see them obviously starting off. I don't think they're going to take that route. But I'd like to see them get to the point where comic book movies have gotten to. And I think it's a possible thing if they hit it properly.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think
done well, obviously.
so you mentioned Skyrim. What is there a specific video game aside from Skyrim that you think could translate really well into a movie?
Damn.
I have one in mind. Would you like me to say it?
Yeah.
And this is a classic one. I'm not necessarily as well versed in modern video game in terms of modern storytelling video games, I should say. Although I do have one in mind in terms of modern ones. But as an old school video game, I think you can make a Zelda movie work.
I was just thinking that. As soon as you started saying old school, I was like, oh, Zelda obviously is a video game. Yeah, the storyline's great. Maybe people will realize that the name of the main character is not Zelda and it's
Link.
I think we should be teaching that in our schools because it's kind of sad. Yeah, a lot of those old school video games, though, even like, I think that they could lend to great storylines. Because
Absolutely.
they've done so throughout so many games. Like one of our friends just brought up as a meme to us The Last of Us 2 and The Last of Us series, which is a post-apocalyptic series. I think that storyline could be easily adapted into a movie.
Yeah.
So and that's like more of like a zombie kind of zombie-esque post-apocalyptic movie, which I think I'm ready for another one. I love me a good zombie movie, not like, and I feel like we really don't have many.
Not nowadays.
World War Z was all right, in my opinion. I didn't think it was amazing.
It was okay.
Dawn of the Dead, I think, is my favorite. But now the rewatchability of it is so bad, I think.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is my favorite zombie movie ever.
Yes, but then once again, that's a comedy.
Yes, but it's actually a really good movie, to be fair.
Yes. But I want like a good zombie movie that's like scary drama-esque.
Yeah.
Like
the original Dawn of the Dead. If you haven't watched the black and white one, go do it. It's very good.
I have not.
Very good.
I'll have to check it out. But I think video games lend these stories that are already there. So most of the work is done. To a good movie, and then it will also help those video game companies.
Yeah.
So everybody wins.
For sure.
But yeah, what other modern? You said you had a modern game.
Yeah. So I have two in mind. Well, one's semi-modern. It's still back in the day. It's like early to mid 2000s. That one is Shadow of the Colossus, I think is the name of the game. I remember watching it and playing it a little bit when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story of this warrior, and excuse me, anyone who's really in depth into this video game and knows more than me. I'm just speaking from memory. I believe he runs around beating these massive colossi in order to help save a princess, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these really grandiose, excuse me, and in-depth battles that like blew me away as a kid. And it's PS2 graphics, and nowadays it'll look like dog shit.
Yeah.
But it's just like the scope of them. If you translate that to modern CGI, I think it'd do really well. And the obvious one is God of War.
As soon as you said Colossus, I had thought God of War. Dude, it's like we're in sync today, and it's kind of gross.
Yeah, except for when we were talking about Valentine's Day, you're snowmobiling and Sonic Hedgehog. Yeah.
I said snowmobiling before I said Valentine's Day.
Your girlfriend's gonna love hearing this podcast.
Oh, she's downstairs right now. Hope she can't hear me. But the God of War, I think, would be an amazing one. An amazing movie.
And you know what? Anyone that has any listeners or viewers, let us know by either tweeting us or dropping it in a comment what you think would make a really good video game movie.
Definitely, because there's probably so many. Also, neither of us are really story mode game players, so there's probably so many storylines that we're not thinking of right now that are out there that would lead to an amazing. Oh crap! Halo would probably be a good one.
They've been talking about a Halo movie for like 10 years.
Or just even a TV show. Like, what do you do? Like a Netflix original now. Like you did The Witcher. Do Halo
that'd be cool.
Like that would be good. And it's the same thing. They did Mandalorian. He has a mask on most of the time. So will Master Chief.
True.
But I think that could be really cool. And that has a very big lore behind it, too. I think those games with that have that big lore of storylines behind it and, like, a lot of fan just, like, lore behind it, I think will tend to a good world within a TV show or movie universe.
For sure.
But, yeah, that's all I got on that opinion, though.
Same here.
It's a really cool thing to think about, though.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And again, I think you're the same way. I'm a fan of us progressing in terms of genre filmmaking.
Yes.
I want these movies to be taken as seriously as like Phantom Thread or Parasite or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let's just make storytelling cross different borders and different boundaries in terms of how we consider it in the hierarchy of art. Let's just let things be.
Also, now that's more readily available to a lot of people. I want to go back and say, if you haven't seen Parasite, please go do that because now it has some validation. It won a bunch of awards. Me and Kyle have been a strong proponent of this. Once again, go back to a previous podcast. I think it's Foreign Films and something, that one.
Yeah.
We're talking about Parasite in that one specifically. Great movie. Check it out.
Please do.
Well, I think it was probably one of both of our favorites this year.
Last year, 2020.
Last year, yeah, that's what I meant. Oops. But yeah. So new thing that I want to do every week or every podcast, which we talked about a little bit. I don't know if you prepped for it or not.
Nope.
Movie trailers that you think people should check out or should be excited for. Do you have at least one?
I do.
On mind.
I do.
And what I'll do, guys, is I'll put the link in the bio down below. I'll have Kyle send me the link to the trailer. So if it sounds good to you guys, to check it out. But I want to do this every podcast because I know me and Kyle talked about it. I love movie trailers when I go to the movies because I like that idea of getting the excitement before the movie comes out. I think that's half the fun right there. So I think it would be fun to share. Kyle is a very big proponent of watching movie trailers when they come out.
Yes, so but not too many.
Yeah, but yeah, not too many of the same. You mean, right?
No. I don't want to get spoilers because sometimes studios be doing that.
But he likes the idea. He watches. What I really meant by that was when a new movie's coming out, that you basically have an idea of what that movie's going to be because you've seen the trailer.
Yes.
Whereas me, I kind of fall behind on it, even though I do get very excited about the trailer. So I think Kyle's knowledge of what excites him that's about to come out would be a very good part of this podcast.
All right, so I actually have two for us this week.
Two.
All right, one came out, I think, right after we recorded last podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's true, actually. And that is the Morbius trailer.
Morbius.
It is the new Sony Studios Marvel movie. It's not necessarily... it could be. We're not sure what universe this exists in. It's a movie starring Jared Leto. He is a superhero, anti-hero-esque vampire dude. He's a scientist who has this degenerative disorder, and he gains the powers of a vampire in order to help himself become better and help destroy the disease that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically becomes like a big monster. And the movie looks really cool and different, and it's within that discussion that we had the last podcast about a subgenre. We now have a vampire movie, superhero movie. And I know that we've had Blade before, but this is one where this is like a monster vampire. If you look at the thumbnail for the trailer, whenever you go watch it, he is a full-blown monster in that trailer. And I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. There's Spider-Man references here and there. I think it's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
I think Jared Leto's a weirdo, but I'm always down to see him do stuff because he's very talented.
He needs to redeem himself in this vein
Yes, he
of
does.
film ever since his Joker performance that was interestingly bad.
I was going to say that's a very nice way to put it, but and
so
I have a second one. It's called Irresistible, and it's starring Steve Carell and the wife from Neighbors, whose name I can't remember, and I feel bad about it.
I feel like I saw this trailer.
She's really funny.
Remember if I have.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pull this up because otherwise it's gonna really bother me. I'm gonna feel bad.
So, I'm excited. Is it a serious role for Steve?
It's actually a comedy.
Or like comedy? Okay.
It's back to comedy. Oh,
which
Rose
I'm happy
Byrne.
about too because I haven't seen him in a comedic role
in a while.
Yeah, I think his last one was that movie-wise was Anchorman 3 when he played, or 2 or whatever.
Man, that might have been it. Yeah.
He played Brick or whatever that guy's name is. Brick.
Yeah.
I love Lamp.
Yeah, I love Lamp. So I'll read the premise on Wikipedia so we can get a sense for what the movie is. A Democratic political strategist, I can't read, works the campaign for a retired veteran's bid for mayor of a small right-wing Wisconsin town. After the Democratic National Committee's top strategist, Gary, Steve Carell, sees a video of a retired Marine Colonel, Chris Cooper, standing up for the rights of his town's undocumented workers, Gary believes he has found the key to winning back the heartland. However, the Republican National Committee counters him by sending in his brilliant nemesis, Faith, who is Rose Byrne, and a local race quickly becomes a fight for the soul of America. Now, the trailer looks pretty funny. There's moments where they kind of get a little bit flagrant. I don't want to spoil any of the jokes, but it looks like it could be really cool. It's one of those movies where I saw the trailer and I went, this could either be a dumpster fire or Steve Carell and Rose Byrne could carry this to being one of the funniest movies of the year. So I'm down for the ride. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And it's nice to see a comedic trailer every once in a while because I always look for, are these all the jokes that are in a movie that they just put into this trailer? Is this all that they have to offer? And I hope not, but we'll see. So those are my two trailers to watch out for this week.
Kyle, we have breaking news right now.
Breaking news? What's up?
So,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's on TMZ.
No way.
Yeah. So just to fill everybody in, just got a message in our group chat. Apparently Kobe Bryant died. So I know once again we're not necessarily a sports podcast, but I know Kyle is a huge basketball fan. I can only assume that he was a Kobe Bryant fan, as you could see the look on his face. TMZ reported that he died in a helicopter crash. And this is stifling. Wow. Didn't expect
there's no way.
Didn't expect this to turn into this. Wow.
Oh my fucking god.
Um, news.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
even know what to say.
it's on. So right now, I'm seeing it online on TMZ
Dude, it's
and
everywhere.
some local California things apparently happen in California. In Calabasas, he died in a helicopter crash. Man,
Dude.
that's
Oh my god.
really, really sad.
Oh my god. I don't even. Wow. Oh my god.
That is crazy. Wow.
Dude.
Sorry to take this turn on the podcast, but I couldn't hold it back besides telling Kyle because I knew he'd probably see it on his phone anyway. Um, and yeah, I felt like it had to be brought up at this moment. But respect and prayers go out to his family. Thoughts to his family and his loved ones. He wasn't that old, was he?
He was like 40.
That's devastating accident there.
Oh my god. He has 3
That's really
daughters and
sad.
everything, bro. That sucks, man.
That is really sad. Okay, so, I mean, I feel like we should channel this sadness and anger into my video game topic, which I was going to rant about anyway.
Yeah.
So I could let you collect your thoughts. So, going to the video game section, just to try to continue and move things on.
Yeah.
Video games suck. They break
Yeah.
our hearts, and I'm starting to think that they can't go on too long without having heartbreaking times with its fans, right? And I obviously have 2 games that I like a lot. Call of Duty, which I do think that company is a scum company now, and Fortnite. And those 2 things are really what are really bringing me down this week. One, I'll start with the Call of Duty because it's something that I've kind of fallen off with more recently due to just the fact that I think the company is just basically just trying to get money from people and really not bringing anything new to the table.
Yeah.
I think it's really unfortunate because it is a fun game, as we say, but they're just reskinning things at this point, which, I mean, it's working to an extent, but it's also, you need to keep it updated because we had a lot of fun with it, but then now we're bored. And I don't know, we did hear those rumors a while back, but I haven't heard anything since of a battle royale with all these 200 players, whatever is going to come out. Then we haven't heard anything. It's been radio silent. But the thing that I want to bring up, which I'm going to bring up a picture of this on my screen right now, is this bug that would show up on people's screens for PS4 when you signed in.
By the way, I got this bug.
So, I think if this happened to Kyle and he actually went through with clicking yes or no, he probably would have broke something. Because what this bug is, it says your data is corrupt or didn't download properly. You must reset your rank and unlock to continue. Which means that if you clicked yes or if you clicked no, what it would have done was reset your account fully.
Yeah.
Purchases,
So real quick,
unlocks, everything.
it did happen to me. I didn't click anything though because Kamakanchi was on with me, and he said just close the app. So I got warned of what to do. I didn't click anything, and it worked, thankfully.
But the reason I'm bringing this up is because you want to know what Call of Duty has done about this?
What'd they do?
They fixed the bug, but besides that,
Nothing?
Just, damn. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Man, people's counts got reset. Yikes. Sorry, guys. I mean, to my knowledge, I have not seen anything of them trying to fix the mistakes they made or resetting those accounts back to what they should have been. Now, I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe it's just people aren't talking about it. But the fact that that game breaking bug basically was a thing. And you have these kids who maybe have gotten money from their parents, birthday gifts, whatever, spent money on your game, and it strips everything away from them. Things that
It
they've worked for, and we can't even get, I don't even know if a full apology out of you. It's disgusting.
it's disgusting. Yeah.
Disgusting. And it's just, it leaves such a bad taste in my mouth with Call of Duty, because it seems like it's one of those companies that is just like, is there money in it? Let's do that. Okay? That's all we're here for. We just want money. We're just too big now. We just want money. And I get a lot of video game companies. Obviously, you want money. That's the sole purpose of making the game, for the most part, unless you're like an indie developer. But you still would like to see some profits out of your game. But it's when your sole purpose goes to not what it used to be, right? It used to be video games are for fun or for this or for that, to bring enjoyment to people. Now, I never would say that someone's selling out or whatever, because I do think that if, as Charlemagne the God has said, if you're selling out, that means someone wants to buy. You quoted that the other day with us.
Yeah. Let's see if you're selling out, that means someone wants to buy in.
So I wouldn't even necessarily say they're doing that, but it's just if they could do loot boxes, I think they would, right? If it was culturally acceptable for them to do a loot box where you pay and there's a percentage chance that you get this item or that item or whatever, but it's a gamble, and it was socially acceptable, they would still be doing that. And it's disgusting, like that company they're basically like, hey, can we get more money? Would you want to give more money? How about some more money, right? And it's kind of sad. But given I will probably be considered a hypocrite in a month or two from now, if they do release a battle royale, I probably will play it. I'm not gonna lie, I will probably play it, but I don't know if I'd put any more money into the game if I had to.
So
Or I haven't put any into the game. I got the what's it called for free because I had the last Call of Duty.
yeah, I have vowed now, especially after this, to never put unnecessary money into a game again. These companies are now starting to show their true colors in terms of the fact that they don't care about their user base.
Yeah.
They don't. Call of Duty is one of the most broken games I've ever experienced in my life. The fact that I have to, and this might just be mine, to be fair, I have to delete and re-download the freaking Call of Duty app every time there is a massive 5-hour update because it says I don't have enough storage in my PS4, which is not true. I always have enough storage. It's bugged, and I can't do anything about it. It's annoying. I can't work around it in any way. It is what it is. I think that games like this do not deserve our hard-earned money. They just don't. You clearly don't care about your customers. That's what they are. They're paying customers. People are losing stuff that they worked hard for, and they put in extra money that they didn't have to put in. Mm-hmm. This is BS. It's unfair. The fact that they are not saying anything about this in terms of trying to refund people money or whatever, or even gift them whatever they had back into their accounts is ridiculous. Fortnite has had a couple moments like this where people weren't getting what they were supposed to be getting. And you know what they did? They gave us extra stuff on top of that to make up for it. Yeah. That matters. That shows that you care about your consumer base. And that builds loyalty. That builds brand loyalty. And you know what? I get that Call of Duty has been out for over a decade and that it's been a dominating game, basically our entire young adult to adult lives. However, stuff like this, these are like landmark moments where it's like, oh, no, you don't care actually. But you aren't part of the team.
With the Call of Duty thing, it fell off for years. And I think part of the reason is because of this, right? Like, yeah. I think they were just rebranding the game and they made it into this unfun thing. Like Advanced Warfare, no one played that anymore. Like, or to my knowledge, it wasn't like Call of Duty, like, oh, the great old days of Call of Duty. So it's sad to see this game wither away, and I do think maybe it ran its course. maybe those studios need to put their effort into another game, maybe similar, but something new. Because I think that old school type of gameplay might even be antiquated now with what we could do with these machines. Right now, battle royales are basically the fun way to do it, an online thing where you have a crazy amount of people into a lobby. It's a lot of fun. But that's just my opinion. I don't really know, but I just think they really need to take a look at what they're doing and start caring again. Not just about the money, but about their game. Do it for the love of the game. Do it for the love of their creation and creating a great product. But that's basically all I could say on that.
Yeah.
And
Real quick,
Yep.
before you get into your next thing, if I seem distant at all or whatever, I'm still reeling over the news. And I'm on Twitter right now, and it just got confirmed by the biggest NBA news source that there is. So I'm like in shock. And just like real quickly, because I you probably wanted me to talk about it a little bit when the news happened. Kobe Bryant is the person. It was the first basketball champion that I ever watched in my viewing, as my time as a fan of basketball in terms of the NBA. My first year ever watching basketball was my first year of high school. It was my first year playing real organized basketball. I played rec basketball when I was in 8th and 7th grade or whatever, but I played for the freshman team, and I was looking for guys to like look up to and pattern my game after. And Kobe was the first guy I saw win at the highest level. So I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant. This news has rocked me to my core. For those who don't know what happened, and I'm sure by the time this podcast is out, everyone will have heard what happened. Kobe Bryant's private helicopter crashed outside Los Angeles. And it's crazy. I'm hoping his kids weren't in it or his wife. I hope everyone's okay. I'm praying for them. God have mercy on all of them. This sucks. This is one of the biggest tragedy in modern sports history. Well, it's weird when I think about legends of sport that have passed. They're so far removed in terms of who they were and when they died.
Yeah.
Outside of Muhammad Ali, this is the first time where someone I loved as a kid, or as like a young adult or whatever, has passed, and it's insane.
It's jarring.
Yeah. Even someone like you who isn't a basketball fan, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it's sad. It's because he wasn't. It's not like he was old. Like
He was 41 years old.
He had a lot of life to live. He had the
And
family. He had all this. And I mean, obviously, it's never great to go, especially in the manner that this happened.
Yeah.
Such a sudden accident. But it makes it worse that it was so young, right? I mean, it's so sad to see.
The man just won an Oscar too. Like, he had so much stuff to give us.
But yeah, Fortnite. So that's what our next topic is.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Fortnite. Where do we start?
Where do we start? We start with where they end.
A lot has come out about Fortnite.
Yeah.
Right? So they gave us a release date, and they gave us a kind of a reason why the release has been pushed back so much.
For season 2.
For season 2. So going from one season to the next. Because if you don't play Fortnite, they have seasons. They break it up, and it's about a 90-day season, normal time. And they've been doing what they call, the last couple of seasons, they've extended it by like a week, right? And it hasn't been that bad. It's still annoying because it's like, you've said it was going to be done this day, and you're still extending it a week. But they were giving free skins out of it. This goes back to the whole free thing that you mentioned, where they would give us a free skin that would apply to the game. So it's like, okay, you extended it, and it's still, I mean, I can't be mad that you have extended this update. Like, it's your game. It's maybe you're just trying to iron out the wrinkles. But this one, they extended it by almost a month, right?
Yeah.
An extremely long amount of time. The problem is the game's getting stale. Especially because of the fact that this is considered a season 1, where they stripped it down to back to the bare minimum, which I understand the thought behind it, because the game got so cluttered with all these different gadgets and stuff. that I do think it was kind of necessary to now they could build it back up into the new game it is. But February 20th, it starts again, right? Fortnite will come out, new season, new things. And the biggest thing is a new game engine. And what that means, for people who don't necessarily know the inner workings of video games, is what it runs on.
Yeah, please explain this a little bit for people who don't know.
Yeah, so basically there's different game engines, and it means like the different levels of graphics, physics behind it, what the game could basically look like and do and feel like. The new game engine is going to make it a lot more realistic. The idea is, right? But also, they might not use it in that sense. They just might use it to kind of keep it how it is, and it will run a lot smoother. There is a lot of problems now, especially on consoles, where you fly in and things look like clay. And you have a lot of these different bugs that pop up. And I think their hopes are that this new game engine will get that rid of it, because it's basically like it could process it better. So everything will just run smoother. So I am excited to see what they're going to do, and I hope it's not something too drastic, because one of the big things that it was graphics-wise. I think one of the reasons Fortnite has been so successful, and we kind of talked about it on here before, is the graphics are very playful for a shooter game, almost cartoon-esque, which makes it better to stream because it's easier to watch. It's not so harsh. It's bright. It's vibrant. It's fun. And I think that lends a lot to the streaming capability of it. So I hope they don't go too far away from that. I hope they don't make it uber realistic. Okay, physics of clothes and stuff like that, cool. Have at it. Maybe the physics with trees, where maybe we'll be able to actually walk through certain branches now. Cool. If you somehow edit the builds and you think it's for a good way, I don't really necessarily know exactly how. I don't want to be able to shoot through wood builds, right? I don't want to be able to shoot through the cracks in the brick.
Yeah.
So if those things start popping up, I think it's going to not really do great for the game. But there is just so much about the game right now that's frustrating. We have skill-based matchmaking. We have forced crossplay. So for people like me and Kyle, who've played the game for so long, and I would consider us better than average, right? There's still so many people better than us that we have to play against, where we just get so frustrated, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, I get certain games, maybe you get just completely destroyed. Understandable. But there should be games where me and you could get into and not feel like we're utter dog trash. Like, we've played this game for 3 years now, and there's days where I just feel like, is this my first day playing? Like,
yeah.
I can't compete with these people here. So I do know that they, for the longest time, like, we're trying to make the game better for all levels of players. And I think they made it worse. I don't know how, but they made it worse for all levels of play. Well, not all levels of players. The great people are still good, but like everyone, I mean, personally, me, I used to play a lot better, and it's not. I haven't really fallen off, especially the last couple weeks. I've been grinding, and it's just so hard. It's so hard.
I won my first solo game in 2 months, 2 weeks ago, and I'm someone who used to get like a solo win once every 2 weeks, maybe. Maybe in my heyday, like maybe once a week. It's dang near impossible now. It's the level. Like, I understand people on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of skill base, not wanting to play people that are so elite, but at the same time, if you put time into the game, your level goes up, which means you will play those guys no matter what.
Yeah, there's no level going down aspect. Like,
Yeah,
the skill base, what they did, which I'm assuming they're basing it off of your account level for the season.
I believe so.
It just goes up. There is no going down. So, like, if you're like, by this time, we're both over level 200. I'm close to 3. I'm not getting games with low level people where they're bad. Like, which, I mean, I think is kind of necessary to a certain extent with the game. Of you need to be a noob and you need to get hit by someone who's really good every now and again to really show you, okay, this is where I could be, right? Like
Yeah.
Call of Duty, you have a lobby, maybe 1 point, and this is something Call of Duty I think it's done well, where one game you might run a lobby, and the next game you might be last in lobby, right? And I think that's something they've done very well, and Fortnite really needs to iron out those wrinkles. But I gotta admit, I'm so excited for February 20th to see what happens, to see the changes, and maybe I'm just optimistic about it because I want it to be great, but I think it's going to be a great update. I think they're going to address a lot of the problems, or I'm hoping they're going to address a lot of the problems. So we will see what comes of that, and I'm excited to see it. Do you have anything that you hope for, though, out of it?
I hope that they get rid of the no, like I hope they get rid of cross-platform playing entirely.
Not entirely. What you're saying is
in terms of like
the
it being
forced cross.
forced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Not
I
the
hope
fact
it's
that
gone.
you can't play.
No,
Like
I want there to be an option.
Yes.
I want you to be able to select. I want to play people that are different, are playing different ways than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I want the skill-based matchmaking to be redone entirely.
Yes.
I think that maybe even if it's like if you're on a losing streak, you get placed into easier lobbies.
Yes.
And maybe you have to work your way up, almost like a UFC, like a fight sport.
But even the whole thing, so they did it with the ranked, where there's like this ranked system, and if eventually you get high enough, where they start taking points away from you every game you join, and if you don't do well enough, if you don't get an elim, if you don't get a certain placement, then you're going negative points.
Yeah.
They need to just maybe not even make it visible, but have that in the background working so that you do get into these things where you can fight people that just are your level.
Yeah. And I'm not someone who was like I wasn't really for the skill-based matchmaking thing, and I got the argument for it at the time. I even understood the people that were lower level saying that it's like it makes the game not fun for them. But I knew that there was no I knew that for at least the first time they were going to do it, there's no way it was going to be done well, and it clearly hasn't been. It's made the game nearly unplayable, in my opinion. We played Friday night?
Yeah.
Majority of the games that we played, I went killless, and I don't care that makes me trash, for the record, because I am trying to enjoy the game. And I'm playing against people that I just can't compete with. It's
you still have fun?
Because I was playing with my friends, yes.
I still don't think I'm as frustrated as when mechs were in the game. Is that weird or what? Because the thing about mechs was, I know these people are better than me that are killing me. In a mech, that person may have sucked.
But just got.
And I think that's what was so frustrating about those, the game-breaking aspect of a mech. Once again, go back if you don't know our rants on that. But I think it was just so, like, the fact that anyone could jump in it and murder you, and you had literally no way of defending it. What's happening now is we're being outplayed, right?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for us because it's every game that we get outplayed. Like, you play a whole game, and then you get down to top 5, right? And you're just getting outplayed. And I'm not... Obviously, I grind the game a lot more than Kyle.
He does, yeah.
So I don't necessarily... I do get those wins sprinkled in it every now and again to just revitalize my hope. But it's still to the point where it's getting so frustrating, just dying and dying and dying, that it's making me nervous for what's going to happen with this game. It's still not... I mean, Mixer, it's still a number 1 game most of the time. But Twitch, it's fallen. Like,
really?
Yeah. It's not number 1 a lot. Very rarely. Given a lot of the big streamers are still playing Escape from Tarkov. League of Legends has just been killing it, but I've never dabbled at that game, so I don't really know much about it. But that's just been killing it. I mean, it's up there a lot. And it brings... So this was just my kind of wrap-up question of this. Do you have any idea what it could possibly be that makes... I mean, we don't know... Neither of us know League of Legends, but how do they do it? Like, that game's been out for, like, years. Let me see when League of Legends was originally released. I'm sorry for all the keyboard noises you're about to hear.
I don't know.
Because 2009. League of Legends has been out since 2009, people. This game has been an extreme competitive game, top of the charts for streaming, probably one of the biggest esports game out. I'd like to think with the biggest prize pool and like most solidified tournaments and esports genre. And I'm just so curious to what makes that game so great that they could last this long, where Fortnite's been out for 3 years and it's gone through such ups and downs. Now, given obviously we don't know League, maybe it has gone through those ups and downs within the community and we just don't know about it. But
Yeah.
like, I want to see Fortnite go to that. Like, I want them to be that great. And what do you think could help Fortnite out to make them more, give them more longevity?
I'm gonna be honest. Maybe even focusing on the competitive play more, like in terms of like tournaments and stuff like that, to try and like get the prize pools up. Because otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what League of Legends. I don't know why it's had such a big, long-lasting impact on the gaming culture.
Yeah.
Unless you make it more accessible to people on the go, maybe like make the mobile apps and stuff better. That maybe even the hold on, I'm about to flex my gaming muscle. 1 second. Maybe even the Switch aspect of it easier to do. You got to just broaden the horizons some way.
I think they need, one part of it is they need to fix this whole discrepancy between player skills base.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think once they do that, then the game will be fun for everyone again. Because then it will allow you to goof off a little bit and not fear that, okay, we just goofed off a little, this is going to cost us the game in an extraordinary way. Because right now, I feel like if you're not paying attention for the slightest second, you lose a good spot and you're screwed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to think about. I hate being negative about the games like this.
Yeah,
but
same.
It's in a way that I for hope, right? Like looking for answers.
No,
almost.
we're fans of this game. We want.
Yeah.
It's my favorite game ever.
Both
I want
that,
it to do well.
but Fortnite and Call of Duty, I'm looking for hope. Like,
yeah, same here.
because I would like to see Call of Duty thrive again too, if the company wasn't so like just shitty about it almost. But with that, that's basically all I got for today.
All right. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I mean, sorry about that whole middle part where like.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my energy.
It's huge.
It's
huge. It's huge news. So we couldn't help it. I mean, it came out. But you heard it here first, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
This is going to be released tomorrow morning. You'll probably know about it before then.
Yeah.
But Kyle, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Buff Charmander. You can find me on YouTube, Geeks Weekly. That is 2 words, Geeks Weekly. Be on the lookout for my analysis of 1917. I just released a non-spoilers review of that last week. Yes, and the people can find you where, John?
Mixer at Ginger Gorilla. Instagram, Twitter, Ginger Gorilla Gaming. Most of the time, if you just type Ginger Gorilla in, you'll see my logo. YouTube, Ginger Gorilla Gaming. And as always, the links will always be in our description for both our channels too. We're just giving you audibly just so it sticks in your head maybe, and maybe you just don't want to scroll down or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Type it in. But the links will be down below. I'm going to throw links in for those 2 trailers too that Kyle talked about earlier if you want to check them out. And that is it, everybody.
We'll see you again next time.